We got a loaded show on today's edition of Warriors Today by Chat Sports. As your Golden State Warriors made a roster move, yeah, they signed a player. We'll tell you who that is and break it all down in just a moment. But an NBA exec had a crazy take, something I could not let you guys not hear about on today's show. He said the most wild thing I think I've ever heard. And then a big move coming for the Warriors per ESPN. They ranked them pretty highly on the likelihoods of making a big move this upcoming season. We'll tell you why in just a moment. But first, make sure you are subscribed to the channel because the Warriors did make a roster move. So when the Warriors make moves, you know we're making you guys videos. We are on our way to 100,000 subscribers here on Warriors Today. So help us in that journey as we have 97,665 currently subscribed on the channel. If you're a diehard Warriors fan and you want free, informative, entertaining Dubs content on YouTube every single day, go down below, hit that subscribe button, and turn those noties on as well. Alrighty, Taevion Kinsey is a new Warriors signing here, getting signed to an Exhibit 10 contract. And what that means is that it's essentially a training camp tryout here for Kinsey. Bringing him in, he's 6'5", 190, has played a little bit of G League action in his career so far, but has yet to step on an NBA floor. If you want to get to know him a little bit more, he was undrafted in 2023 out of Marshall, and he left Marshall as the all-time leading scorer there for the Thundering Herd. And look, that's a big accolade and accomplishment because you had a guy like John Elmore about a decade ago who was absolutely balling and getting buckets over there in West Virginia. But Kinsey plays 5 years in Marshall, and he ends up as the all-time leading scorer, finishing his final season averaging like 22 points a game. He spent time with the Utah Jazz in their organization, but didn't ever get out on the floor with them. Anytime that he's been on an NBA floor of any kind, it's been in the G League with the Salt Lake City Stars. He's only played 3 games there total, 1 in 23-24 and 2 in 24-25. We'll tell you those stats in just a second. But he's yet to appear in an NBA game. Now, this is an interesting nugget that I found on Kinsey as well when I was looking about the signing and what it means for Golden State. Kinsey was also selected to represent the NBA G League United team at the 2025 FIBA International Cup this fall, and that falls on, I believe, September 18th through the 21st there, so it won't really go into him, or it won't leak into Warriors training camp or anything. Kinsey will be a part of it, and he'll try to make this active roster here, as Golden State will probably have at least one roster spot open when training camp rolls around and we're about to get started with the preseason and regular season coming. And when he got on the floor in the G League there, he made the most of it, to be quite honest with you guys. In the 2 games he played in 2024-25, averaged 16.5 points. He dropped 33. He had 11 rebounds. And yes, this is over a 76-minute stretch, 2 games where he played 38 minutes a pop. But he had 6 stocks as well, 2 steals, and a block averaged in each one of those 2 games. 11 to 15 from the floor, so he's efficient. And he was also really efficient from the three-point line as well, where he shot it at a really high percentage for a couple of seasons there in Marshall as well. 3 of 3 from long range, but he didn't have the most high volume three-point shooting ability, because you do see a big seesaw here of percentages when you look at his three-point marksmanship from college. You start off 36%, then it goes to 24, then we see 41%. Ooh, that's awesome. Then it goes all the way down to 18.3%. So, it obviously wasn't on the craziest volume here on a game-to-game basis, but he can fill it up, man, from multiple levels on the basketball court. 22 points a game in his final season in Marshall, averaged 19 the year before that, basically 20 the year before that. This guy has been knowing how to put the ball in the basket since he basically came out of the womb. So, he has been doing this for a long time, and he provides to me a lot more offensive polish than maybe the 2 Warriors second-round draft picks end up showing off in their first year in the NBA, Will Richard and Alex Tui. They don't really look as ready for NBA action as maybe Taevion Kinsey does. So what do you guys think? The percentage chance, I don't want to grade the signing or anything like that, because the odds that you guys know that too much about Kinsey or his game is pretty low. So I have to ask you guys, a percentage chance that Kinsey plays for the Golden State Warriors active roster this upcoming season. Scale it for me down in the comment section, 0% to 100%. Let me know what you guys think down below. Next up, you will not believe what this anonymous NBA executive said about Jimmy Butler and Jonathan Kuminga. It is one of the most ridiculous takes I've ever heard in my entire life. Let's just get right to it right here. Anonymous NBA executive told NBC Sports Bay Area the following. One guy who was put in a similar situation to Jonathan Kaminga is Paul George when he got to Indiana. When he got there, they were right on the cusp. Danny Granger was playing in front of him, and Lance Stephenson was there. And eventually, he was able to play with that David West group. They were competing for championships. But it was like the perfect setup for Paul. They weren't a big market team, but they were a good team. He got a chance to grow while they were trying to win. And a lot of the mistakes weren't as magnified as Kaminga's have been because of the team he is on. I don't get it. the hoops that people jump through to justify Jonathan Kuminga being straight garbage on the basketball court is beyond me. It is legit beyond me. To compare him to Paul George, who's a 9-time All-Star, a guy who came in as a 10th overall pick. Yeah, pretty similar draft positioning to Kaminga there at 7th overall. But this is a guy who had 2 years of polish to his game already at the collegiate level. Jonathan Kuminga played 13 games for the J-League Ignite. That is absolutely, it couldn't be further away from where these two players were when they entered the league. Paul George was already 20. Kuminga was a fresh 18. Now Kuminga's 22 years old. And by the time Paul George was in his age 22 season, he was putting up disgusting numbers and he was already an all-star. Now, Twitter was speculating. I don't want to put this to fact, but Twitter was speculating that the anonymous executive is Aaron Turner, Jonathan Kuminga's agent. And look, based on their behavior that they've had throughout this whole free agency process, I would say that that's a non-zero chance, but I'm not going to say that that is the case or anything like that. The most likely option is this is like a really bad front office general manager or executive of some kind, like in the Kings or the Hornets or the Suns, like people who actually think Jonathan Kuminga is a good basketball player, and more often than not, that's a bad front office. But yeah, I doubt it was all Aaron Turner, but it sounds like the verbiage that he would use in that scenario. Look, man, there are so many differences between Paul George and Jonathan Kuminga that it is legitimately laughable. Like I laughed when I read this quote this morning. Like, by the way, I'm just gonna piece by piece and break it all down here. They were right on the cusp. The Pacers were a lottery team before they drafted Paul George. Lance Stephenson was drafted in the same draft class. And Paul George and Danny Granger started together for a season. Kuminga and Jimmy Butler will never start together and have a successful NBA run. Like, it's just not going to happen. They don't fit together. Paul George, keep in mind, he was also shooting above league average from three-point range during this time on high volume. Kuminga has never shot that in his life. So, I don't know. Why am I even wasting my breath on all this? I just decided to show you guys that quote because the discourse around Jonathan Kuminga, it is so polar opposites when you talk to two different people. It's legit laughable. Look, I'm on one side of the fence. That executive's on the other side of the fence. Maybe there's a reason he works in the NBA, and I don't. Look, Granger also got hurt to really let Paul George flourish in that scenario. If you look at the year that Paul George rose up to a 22-point-per-game score, won the most improved player, did all those great things, led Indiana to conference title appearances, Danny Granger didn't play. He literally played 5 games. You think he just benched him for the whole year? No, he got hurt. He was done. His knees were shot. And that's why Paul George got the opportunity that he did. The Pacers weren't 13-2 with Danny Granger while Paul George was sitting on the bench due to injury. No. That's what the situation was with the Golden State Warriors. They were 13-2 with Jimmy Butler while Kuminga was resting from that ankle sprain. So these situations couldn't be further apart from the truth. If you guys believe that Kaminga could be Paul George, which would, by the way, be a 9-time All-Star, multiple-time all-defensive player, that's what it would have to be on a similar situation, a similar path to Paul George. So I just decided to make it even less than that, even less than what Paul George has accomplished in his career. Do you guys believe that Kaminga could become a 5-time All-Star? Not a 9-time All-Star, a 5-time All-Star, because that's what would be a similar situation to Paul George. Let me know what you think down below, yes or no. Next up, we're going to probably cool off a little bit more on this than I was just getting a little angry right there. But ESPN did say a big move could be coming for your Golden State Warriors. We'll break that down in just a moment. But get hooked up with this awesome deal at this link right here, chatsports.com/dubcity. Look, they're going to release new city colorways this upcoming season. And I love this one with the navy, the yellow, and the red. It just all pops to me. And this is a Nike heavyweight long sleeve tee for $35. You can't get that kind of deal anywhere else other than this link right here. Chatsports.com/dubcity. They still got all the sizes available, but this colorway is going out of style very, very soon. So get yours today. I put that link in the comment section and description of today's video to make it easy for you guys. Get yourself a fresh Warriors long sleeve jersey, or long sleeve shirt as the weather starts to get cooler. Alrighty, ESPN was doing a bunch of polls, polling across a bunch of general managers and writers and all that stuff over at ESPN. Just a couple of different scenarios that they had other than this list. They had a biggest team to fall off, biggest impactful injury, a bunch of different things speculating on what's going to happen for this upcoming NBA season. And this one is the likeliest to make a big move during the season. And the Warriors, top on the list at 7 votes. The Lakers following. It's the Lakers. Of course they're going to be at the top of the list like this. The Cleveland Cavaliers are going to be up here with 3 votes as well. The Pelicans, as there's going to obviously be some Zion Williamson trade rumors that are circulating this upcoming year. The Pelicans are going to be awful. They got 2 votes. And then the Sixers, look, they probably aren't super married to Paul George at this point, so could they make a big move swinging him and trading him away? Potentially, but I would say the Warriors at this point have a way better chance to make a huge move this upcoming year than any of these teams below them. Here's what Slater had to say. Shout out to Anthony Slater, by the way, getting that ESPN gig. That's my guy. The Warriors lead this list because they've essentially spent the offseason signaling a desire for deadline movement. Their 2-year, $45 million contract offer to restricted free agent Jonathan Kuminga was designed to get him on a salary number they can flip come January. So like it'd be about a $21.5 million first-year salary for Kaminga, and they would try to flip that at some point because it's pretty difficult to be honest with you to trade these $35 to $40 million contracts in the middle of the season. Look, this is not exactly a bombshell report here. This isn't anything that we didn't already know. The Warriors are going to try to trade Jonathan Kaminga, and it is widely accepted at this point across the league. Executives, media members, players, everybody knows this. Kuminga will be off the Warriors in 2026, whether that is right when the trade restrictions are lifted at January 15th, or if it's at the deadline, or if the Warriors like really royally screw this all up and they can't find anything trade-wise for him and he ends up leaving off the team option when the season concludes. So one way or another, Jonathan Kuminga will not be on the Golden State Warriors next summer. Now, how long will that be? We don't know. How long will he be on this roster this upcoming year? We don't know. But at some point, these two will decide to break up. It's just when, not if. Will Kuminga finish the season on a new team? Will the Warriors find a trade partner at some point? What's your take? Let me know in the comment section, yes or no. Will JK finish out this year on the Warriors or not? And that will do it for today's edition of Warriors Today by Chat Sports. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel because we're keeping you guys tapped in on the Kuminga saga like nobody else is on YouTube. We'll see you guys all in the next one. And as always, let's go Dubs.